For those who know me, I can speak underwater on drones, and yes, I'm calling them drones at this point. But today I'm limited to 15 minutes, so it's going to be a real stretch for me. Now, first of all, look at how many people are in this room. 13 years ago, when I first started getting into the drone industry, or back then we called them UAVs, if you had asked me if we could bring 350 plus people to a Western Queensland centre like Dalby to talk about drones, I would have said you were dreaming. But look around you today. It's really, really exciting. It's telling us that this industry is getting momentum, that people are excited about the technology and all the amazing applications that it has and benefits for our community in Australia. Now, first, I wanted to pick up on some of the comments from earlier speakers. And Catherine Ball mentioned that these conversations need to be had, and that we are the envy of everyone around the world. And my sort of thought was, well, who's having that conversation? Why are we the envy? And the answer to that is there's the work of CASA, the CASA SCC, and the many other voluntary panels out there and working groups, and the likes of the association, who I'm standing in front of you today and representing as president, AAUS. Those groups have worked tirelessly over the last decade, actually 14 years, to generate the environment that everyone here is benefiting from today. And if it wasn't for their leadership, particularly CASA in 2002, we wouldn't be having this conversation. We wouldn't have 350 people in Dalby talking about all these amazing opportunities. And so I wanted to start just with who the association is. AAUS, or the Australian Association for Unmanned Systems, is Australia's first and largest association in Australia. We represent land, sea and air, but 95% of our attention and resources dedicated to realising the drone industry. Our objective is to promote a safe and viable unmanned systems industry here in Australia. We're a not-for-profit. We have a board that has representation from small to medium enterprises right up to your big multinational primes. And we can only benefit from the experience and the resources of those board members as well. Our membership and our board contains all aspects of the industry, from small to medium operators, manufacturers, insurance providers, academia, training organisations, and now, increasingly so, what I call the information generators. Those software companies who don't really care that it's a drone that caught the information. They're the ones who are doing all the smarts with it and generating information and making data or making product out of those flights. But more importantly, what does this association do? What has it done? We represent you. We represent you in so many different forums you're completely probably not aware of. I challenge you to name a government department that we haven't spoken to or haven't come to speak to us. We support regulatory development. We address privacy concerns. We've worked with various privacy advocacy groups over the years to put position statements out there, security and other public concerns. We provide information. We're a source of information to both our members and the public. So we address Ma and Pa's concerns over a drone flying their house. Who do they call? They actually call me. And it's a very busy time of this year with the regulations as well. We also hold events. We promote our membership. We promote the great things this technology can do. And that's a big core focus for us because we need to change the perceptions of the public around this technology and shift the focus from disruptive and vulnerable and threatening that I heard today, which really, we need to change that rhetoric. We need to change it to opportunity and applications and benefit to the Australian Commonwealth. If you think of our distributed landmass, the small number of people and the huge infrastructure we must maintain, we need to be looking at innovative technologies like drones. And I'm all for changing that rhetoric around our technology. Of course, those events help networking events like this, and this is a really successful event, and congratulations to the organising committees on this one. And we provide free services to advertise career opportunities for new students and for public as well, to search and find professional drone operators in their community. And we deal with a lot of the frequently asked questions. We're the front line for the public in a lot of fielding questions. And importantly, every dollar we raise goes straight back into the industry. We're a group of volunteers. I volunteer my time along with all the other board members to generate this environment that we have in Australia. We are world leaders, don't forget it. Australia's been pioneers in aviation, and why shouldn't we be pioneers in the drone industry? And guess what? We are, which is really, really exciting, and we want to see that continue. But every dollar we raise goes straight back into those education, advocacy, and regulatory activities that we undertake. So where is the Australian industry at today? That's a little graph. Way back in 2004, 2005, there were 5 certified operators in the room. We used to be able to get around, have a beer, and everyone knew everyone. Grew to about 20 in 2010, and this was 3 weeks old. I was told 650, but I heard this morning 760. So I'm out of date now. That's extraordinary. 750 plus. I know that says 650. 750 certified operators. I can't tell you how many illegal operators are out there. And that's one of the key risks I'm going to talk about today. Some quick facts. I'm sorry, I'm punching through this pretty quickly because I'm concerned I'm going to get chickened. Multi-rotors, they're about 80% of our operators at the moment, and followed closely, well not closely, but 12% in fixed wing. And hybrids are the category to watch here. And this is relatively new data. This is June. I took this data. Of the operators, most are in that small category, 57%. So they're not in that sub 2 kilo category, they're in that small category, 2 to 25 kilos. And then about 40% are in that very small category. And we'd expect a few of the very small to increase because of the changes to the regulations. Where are they based? Important question when you've got state government in the room. I'm sorry, Queensland, you're not leading this one, unfortunately. New South Wales, clear leaders here, 31% in New South Wales. Queensland's not too far behind, 24, but watch out, Victoria's coming, 1% behind as well. And look, Queensland over the years, over the last decade has made some brilliant investments in this industry. It's not a recent thing for Queensland government. They've been very strategic, and as from an industry perspective, I'd like to thank the Queensland government for that investment. In terms of employees, as you can see, there's about 10% with organisations who employ more than 50 people, so big companies. Down the other end, this is the important fact, and we heard about innovation and small companies in earlier speakers, 75% of our industry employ less than 2 people, 2 or less people in their company on a full-time basis. So we've got to respond to the needs of that small, medium enterprise as they're a growing sector for us. Now, what was I going to talk about today? Industry risks. I wasn't going to talk about the operational, what you may face if you're flying your unmanned system. There's lots of information on that, and come and talk to me. I've got a PhD in it if you really want to talk about it. What I wanted to focus on is the risk across the industry, across the whole sector. If we could break it up, we have those in technology, economic, legal and regulatory, and social, and a whole raft of issues underneath all of that. Now, I couldn't get a pretty diagram. I'm an engineer, I'm not a graphics sort of guy, but this is the best I could to get them to overlap. They're all tightly connected. We heard about privacy. There's economic considerations, social considerations, technical considerations, as well as the legal and regulatory perspectives as well. Insurance, we'll hear from Simon in a second. But issues like noise. What happens if Google really gets its plan, to an Amazon and that have hundreds of these things delivering pizzas and eBay over your house? Do you think you're going to be really impressed with that from a noise perspective? So we need to start looking at things like fly neighbourly. And the concern, and I guess the biggest risk the industry faces at this at this point, is really professionalism. I'm not too worried about safety because I know that there are some safety elements out there that need to be addressed, but I think it's about professionalism, creating the airmanship and that idea that you're part of the aviation community and that you need to uphold a very high standard for everyone's sake. And that's what I'm going to focus on. Now, we have the amended regulations. 29th, they come into effect, so later this week. They have divided the industry. The association took a long and very critical look at the impact of that. But from a safety perspective, and that's what CAS is concerned about, aviation safety, we see that they're a good step forward. We've waited 14 years. I've been on many of the panels working laboriously for a decade trying to help get this moving forward. Regulations aren't perfect. They're really hard to write, but this is a great step forward for us. There will be a significant impact in terms of reshaping that sub 2 kilo and small market, but as I said, most of the membership and most of the certified operators aren't in that market, and we would expect some consolidation around that. But there's 2 key risks. 1, it doesn't address the hobby users, and 2, there is that possibility of the unprofessional underground really emerging. I call them fly-by-nighters. I've got my little dodgy brother's drone operator there. This is a new aviation sector. It's very easy to get into. $2,000, even less, buys you a reasonably good machine. You don't need to have a lot of knowledge to start flying these things, and you definitely do not have a huge amount of knowledge about how much impact you could have on aviation safety and the public, the damage you can do to the industry as well. End users, their knowledge of the regulations, so the realtors, the commercial companies, the infrastructure companies, they don't have a huge knowledge of the regulations. So they don't know what questions to ask when an operator comes along and goes, yeah, I'll take that photo for you, no problem, I'll do LiDAR scan for you, no worries. And too often they get burnt. Their expectations are not met, and the operator isn't operating legally. So they're a very big threat to the industry and for all of you in this space. How do we go about it? Wow, that went quick. How do we go about fixing this? And that's what I want to focus on here. AAUS is announcing an accredited drone operator program, completely free. Think of it as the Master Builders Association, or the Masters Builders tick for drone operators. We want to see professionalism across the board, and what better way to do that is to create a professional accreditation program. This program the objectives are to provide operators with an independent means to go to their clients, to the real estate agents, to the farmers, and say, look, I'm an accredited, you have trust in me. And also to those who are employing contracted services, they can trust that individual, that service provider. To be an accredited operator, you must be a member of AAUS, which is not expensive. It's $100 a year for individuals. You must commit to a code of conduct that means you sign up to regulatory compliance, airmanship, professionalism, privacy, and the principles of flying neighbourly. So being a good aviation citizen. You must maintain appropriate insurance, which Simon will be talking about very shortly. You must also demonstrate knowledge of the regulations that apply to you and the principles to which you sign up. And the cost? Absolutely free. Why? Because we want to see the whole industry, we want to see the whole professional bar raised, because we all benefit from that. There are benefits to you as a service provider and someone who contracts the services of an accredited professional as well. To close out that loop, AAUS, so myself and the board, are meeting with all of the end user groups, real estate providers, farming federation, who else have I got on my list at the moment, infrastructure, local government association, 3 of them this week, to say, make them aware of the risks they put themselves open to when they contract the services of an unprofessional, not unapproved operator, but also promote to their membership that they should be taking up an accredited drone operator and not potentially a fly-by-nighter. The other key risk, and it's the last one, is that these things are damn fun, like really, really, really fun to fly. And that's a key risk to us, because lots of kids, big kids included, like me, love to fly these things. And not all of them have knowledge about the risks they cause or the threats they cause to other airspace and to people and property on the ground. And hats off to Margot and her team for this sort of material. Very active on Facebook, very active on LinkedIn. But we've all got a responsibility as a community to educate. You should see, when you see a kid in the park dangerously flying a UAV, why isn't it more people out of the community walk up and go, hey son, or hey daughter, you shouldn't really be doing that. That's a bit dangerous. CASA is not a police force. We all, as a community, like we do for kids on bikes, we need to raise that community knowledge and community-based regulation around this technology. We all have a responsibility in that sense, and education and outreach is key to addressing that risk. So in summary, if you don't know who AAUS is, we're the largest, we've got 400 plus members, and it's growing exponentially, and it will continue to grow. Our sole aim is to see this happen safely and viably into the future. I encourage you to get involved. It's a volunteer organisation. We need your experience, we need your expertise on all these panels and regulatory development initiatives. We're tackling industry-wide risks, from small, medium operators right up to the big industry. And I guess the key point here is that watch this space. In the next couple of weeks, you'll find a whole lot of information on a new accredited drone operator program that's there to really help your business stand out as a professional organisation, and also help your end users identify you and find approved and professional operators. Some information there, and I believe the slides will be available. If I haven't come out and grabbed you, come and grab me. I'd love to talk about this stuff, and I'd love to collect as many business cards as I can as well. So thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of the day.